how do you plan your in-house collection?
How much you've heard and how much you've retained, what they like, how they want their outfits to be, what they're looking for.
How much money did you put in this particular business? And
I invested initially 25 lakhs.
how easy is to earn from this industry?
So if you are judicious about your cost of production and you're judicious about using your marketing money well, then it is quite simple to earn from this business.
Is it profitable?
It is profitable.
Biggest challenge you faced coming from a non-fashion background in launching and growing the brand?
The intricacies of the fashion world or a fashion business, which I learned by making mistakes. Had I had someone like Aneri in my life at that point of time, that 5-6 years would have become 2-3 years for sure.
In 2024, if someone wants to open their own business, what piece of advice do you want to give them? Hi guys, I'm so excited to start my new podcast series where I am going to try to help you fashion aspirants reach to this industry, reach out there, try your different genres of fashion, try to build whatever you want in the fashion industry. And I'm going to cover a lot of different people who are working in different sort of areas in fashion. So my first episode I'm shooting is really special. I'm shooting it with Nehali Kothari. She insists that I introduce her by a mother first. She is the founder of Meghmalhar, which is situated in Ahmedabad. It's my first episode also, and the whole topic of today is customized ethnic wear clothing, which is really, really important for a lot of women who are trying to build their own clientele, their brand, and we are going to try to help them out. So what do you think, Nehali ji? How are you feeling right now? Let's start with that.
Oh, thank you so much, Aneri, for having me here. And it feels really special, and it's a privilege that we could shoot the first episode on this series together. And would love to share a lot of stories about Meghmalhar and the journey that I've taken in the last 7 years. And it's going to be a great hour of chat together.
Hope so. Awesome. Like this is really what I want, and we will try to give you a lot of insights from what we talk, and maybe that can help you. I want to ask you so many questions because I've always seen and heard a lot of good things about the collection. Even the most important thing is how you are managing the back end, because I have some sources where I get my information that you do extremely well. Those are, your team, the girls working with you, they always talk so good, and I don't know how you manage that. But coming back to this particular thing, first I want to ask you is that you are not from the fashion background. I don't know how did everything came up to you, and how did you start this whole journey in the fashion industry?
Okay, for that, let me start with my choice of being a fashion designer right after graduating from college. I wanted to pursue it. I even applied for the entrance test for NIFT at that point of time, but simultaneously also got placed with Standard Chartered Bank.
And this was year?
This was in 99. And that's where my career in finance started. Yeah. And I've worked with really, really good groups like Aditya Birla Group and with Reliance Capital. And I've had a fabulously enriching career in the corporate sector as well. And then I took a sabbatical in 2013 when my daughter Meg, she turned 13. And I wanted to stay and enjoy her teens and give some time to myself and enjoy motherhood. And that's how I took a small break. I told myself I'll go back after 6 months. I'll start looking for something after 6 months. But 6 months became a year, and then I started thinking whether I want to do this. I want to go back to the corporate world, whether I want to go back to finance or any other related products. And fortunately for me, I had some really good mentors at that point of time. And they encouraged me to do my own SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis, strengths and challenges and stuff. So that's where all my lists that I kept making were going back to me into the creative field. And again and again I was pulled to fabrics and something to do with garments and something to do with creativity, and that was the outline of the analysis, and that's how I thought, why not try my stint with fashion. And that's how the idea for Meghmalhar germinated.
Awesome. So, how did you think that I want to do something with customized clothing and not start a Prethwear brand or something like that? How and what was the year when you started this?
So this was 2018 when I started Meghmalhar, and prior to that, I did a lot of extensive research because I wasn't from this industry, because I had not studied. My formal education was not in fashion. Therefore, I had to do a lot of legwork to ensure that I do things the right way as best as I can. Also, I was 39 when I started Meghmalhar. So it was kind of a second career for me, and I had seen success for a very, very long time. For me to not get success into whatever else that I do, right? So it was very important that I do my research well, and I put my money where I am sure of getting success. Because
So, what was that time period where you took that break, that particular break where you were, thinking of starting your venture, or maybe just a break? So, how many years were you in that particular
zones,
Yeah.
I was on a sabbatical for about 4 years.
Okay.
And during that time, as I said, I did my research on fashion, on what to do, how to do, where to do, and how to gain the minimal amount of mistakes while doing it.
I have heard, a lot of mothers talk about this thing that they lose their jobs. Maybe there is some maternity leave issue or whatever. They sort of take that break for themselves also, and for the kid, and for that feeling of the motherhood feeling, and everything is so special. I am also going through that, and I completely understand taking a break. And a lot of mothers feel that how to start, and I don't know, that's a beautiful thing that you were sitting peacefully with doing your research, and you just wanted to start on the correct lines. And I think that research and planning helps a lot. So what was the first sort of, how much money did you put in this particular business, and you felt like confident, okay, I want to put this money and I'm going to start this business?
So I started very small,
Yeah.
and I started with a small space in this very building, and it was on the 5th floor without a board or a hoarding or anything like that. It was absolutely through word of mouth and friends and family that I began Meghmalhar and the journey ahead. And initial investments will differ from person to person.
Definitely.
And how they want to scale up, and what is the base that they want to set. So say roughly I invested initially 25 lakhs to build my stock and to do up the place, and to start the brand on the day one. Fortunately for me, I covered whatever initial investment that I made in the 3 days of the opening itself.
What?
Yeah, I did. And it was a fabulous start, and that gave me the confidence that I was doing something right. People were liking what I made, and they were not doing obligatory sales of just buying one outfit. People were making 2-3 purchases at a time. So that told me that I'm doing something right.
Awesome. So that's where your confidence started, and the whole thing that, okay, now let's just start. This is, I think, something right.
At the same time, having said that, of course I got a lucky break, but one must make their business plan before they start.
Beautiful.
Like I did, right?
Yeah.
So even today, if you ask me, I have a business plan for the next 5 years. And I did have a business plan before I started Meghmalhar, and it gives you a vague idea as to where you need to go and where you need to put the money, and you prioritize whatever you're earning, where it should land, what all it should get reinvested into. So that's kind of very, very essential to do.
Also, I remember one thing you told me maybe some months ago when we met, that when I started, that means when you were telling me that when you started, you had this feeling that you were looking at other designers and you felt that the people where they are right now, I have to reach there in probably 5 years. And I think that vision is, I sometimes think of that line which you told me, and I really understand the feeling you had maybe when you thought about it. And when you have that vision, I think I also tell this to my clients, that only then you, नहीं हम बोलते हिंदी में फाड़ देंगे, only then that happens. I don't think, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have that plan on paper, I don't think things end up.
So going back to where we started the conversation, a business plan helps you navigate properly, and simultaneously you have to have a goal where you want to reach, right? So as I started very late in this line of business, even today, if I say I have another 15 golden years ahead of me to do something really great and leave a legacy for Meg behind. So I want to do something that that will mean something to me. Like,
she must be so proud of you.
I'm sure. I'm working on it every day to make her feel proud of me.
So, how did you think of a customized bespoke brand for, maybe weddings? The whole occasion you had in mind was ethnic wear and everything. So how did you come up with that and not a ready-to-wear brand?
With my own experience of me as a client. What were my expectations? What was my target segment? Who reaches in life to be able to spend, or when do people reach that age when they are able to spend that much amount of money on just routine casual wear or slightly festive wear, or what is that amount, and what is that age that you kind of feel free to kind of spend that kind of money. And that's how I thought, what is my target segment, what is my surroundings, like my friends and family and people whom I know, and where is the gap in the market. Okay, one is you identify what is your age group that you're targeting, then the product. So what is the price band that you want to place the product in?
Exactly.
And that's what I factored into. And then the third was whether I want people to pick up ready to wear in that price bracket, or I want them to get things customized. And I felt more comfortable getting my own garments customized to my liking, to my choices. And I felt that it would be more fun to work on that on an everyday basis, rather than putting up a collection and making sizes for it.
Yeah.
So I feel, even today, I feel thrilled to wake up in the morning and come to work thinking.
And I think back then, before COVID, it was not a huge trend of having this online sort of a prep brand. I think now it's more.
Correct.
Yeah, so maybe that also correct.
But for people who are starting their business, this has to be a decision that they take at the beginning.
Correct.
That whether they want to venture into online or prep, or they want to venture into customize and bespoke.
Right. And talking about customizations, like if we have two categories, heavy and lighter range. So you think for lighter range people come for customizations, or they prefer ready to wear? Like if you see your overall sales, if you see heavy sort of wedding wear or something, that would be more, right? What do you think?
Okay, so I feel personally that it has nothing to do with money and budget.
Right.
It has to do with people's imagination. If I am able to imagine which color will look good on me, what kind of embroidery will look good on me, if I am able to imagine that this outfit in that color will look nice, or this embroidery on that color in this style will look nice, if I am able to imagine that for myself, then I fall into the category of wanting to customize something on my own. If I am able to look at 10 photographs and see what I like and think that, okay, I like this on myself, or this is my choice, if those are the answers that I'm getting, then I am a candidate for customization. Versus someone who feels that I want to wear it and see it. Only then can I understand whether it looks good on me or not. So that is the differentiation, and not the amount of money. It could be an outfit for 5,000 rupees, and yet I would want to wear it and see whether I want to spend 5,000 or not. And somebody else would be customizing, like I have so many of my clients who very comfortably are able to customize garments which are of the value of 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs and above. So because they are able to go with our vision, go with, imagine how it's going to look, and also have that, it's like an adventure, right? So we really enjoy.
They come for the
this.
trial and
Yeah.
what's there. Yeah, correct. So, you mentioned that the off season is something where you sort of create your collections and for the wedding season, everything. So, what is the inspiration for that? Like, how do you plan your in-house collection? Is there like an inspiration or a theme which has?
So any collection is a direct result of how much you've listened, how much you've heard, and how much you've retained. So on a daily basis, we get so much information from our clients about what they like, how they want their outfits to be, what they are looking for. It may not be that I've been able to cater to 100% of people who are walking into the store every day.
Right.
Right. So, but I've heard them. I know what they're looking for. And that's what we retain and make notes.
Right.
And we apply it for the next time.
Yes.
And that's how we design our collection. Also, we take into account what are the colors of the season, whether the person or whether the design merits an evening wear or a day wear, whether the design should be incorporated for a specific function or in general. So too many thoughts go into making any collection. And what kind of embroidery I want to make popular, or what kind of embroidery I want to promote, what do I want to be known for. And like Marodi work is something that we are gaining popularity for, and we do some really fine quality Marodi embroidery.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So because that's the moment you came in and saw it and you commented on it, was a direct result of our designing that collection. Because we've gained information from our clients that this is what they're looking for, and they would like some exclusive things into that.
So can I phrase it in a way that if a person is doing customization, sort of the business model is like that, then they have to keep like almost 90% customers or clients in their mind when they design their collections.
Yeah, from day one, from even before your brand is born.
So
you have
do
to
trends
keep that.
come into the picture, or you literally have this thing in your mind that you have to sell, your customer should like. So I'm making for them the colors, the cuts, everything, the embroidery is for them. So I have to create something which they like. But are you thinking about sort of a person, if they wants to start their own business right now, do they think about the trends, or you think it's not valid over here in this type of a business model?
So someone who is into trendier garments and who does or concentrates on fast fashion, probably for them it may be true. But in my case, I work a lot on ethnic outfits and traditions.
The classics.
And something that I make will be in fashion for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
At least, at least. So,
yeah, correct.
And I work with traditional weaves and traditional colors and traditional embroideries. However, having said that, not that we don't do Western stuff, but that also we keep in mind that this should be in use for the next 5 to 7 years till the person's size completely changes. So all those things we consider while making an outfit or designing a sample piece for a collection.
Yeah. So talking about fabrics, what kind of fabrics are your favorite? Like what do you use, sort of this fabric has to be there in my new collection, something that you can't go wrong with?
I personally love silks, and like what I'm wearing right now, I love Munga silk, and every collection has Munga silk in it, and I love Bangalore silk. I like working with raw silk, and those all fit into festive wear or
Weddings.
the wedding wear collection. And we do a lot of prints as well on georgettes and on crepe. So those are the fabrics that are always omnipresent in any collection that I make.
So how do you manage to source such different sort of silks or even these softer fabrics which you said, crepes and georgettes? So how do you source these, and from where can, if someone is building a brand right now, what do you think, where should they go?
Where I found success and knowledge and a lot of experience without paying for it was by traveling to all the fabric hubs of India. So I used to fly out and go to places where these fabrics come from. Lucknow is from Lucknow, and Chanderi from Chanderi, and from Banaras. I mean, a designer cannot be a designer and not go to Banaras.
This is a beautiful insight.
So for all those who are starting out new, if they were able to visit all the 5-6 big hubs of fabrics in India, I guarantee that their education in
And
fabrics will elevate many folds.
Even the feel, the touch, the things the artisan has to say, and I think
Your own knowledge about, by visiting so many people and listening to what they are making and how they are selling, there's so much insight into what all is there in India. It's a huge, big, massive ocean of information.
so true. So do you believe in sustainability when it comes to fashion?
So that's the whole principle of making ethnic wear, right? That you can wear it for many, many years and it's not going to go out of fashion. At the same time, you're able to pass it on to the next generation as well.
Yeah.
So things that you're making today with a view that your next generation is going to own this piece, wouldn't that be a fantastic feeling to have?
But I think, when what you're saying is very much true for saris and these traditional Indian textiles like patolas and bandhanis and all these Kanjivaram silks and Banarasis and all. So what I feel is for such constructed pieces like lehenga choli or some, so I don't know if that's possible, like, my daughter would wear my particular outfit. I don't know if that's, what's your take?
I have yet to come across a mother who has not saved her wedding outfit, whatever that may be, a lehenga or a sari, so that her daughter or her daughter-in-law makes use of it one day. I have yet to come across somebody who hasn't done that. So that's something that's ingrained in us as Indians. We take that very seriously, right? So that is one. But at the same time, when you're investing in an expensive piece like a patola or a bandhani, you feel that you yourself need to use it for many, many years before passing it on to a family member or before reusing it or just putting it away.
Yeah. So my mother in my wedding, she wore her own sari, which she wore, like it was a Garchola sari, in her own wedding. And she wore that sari with a different blouse, of course, in my wedding. And the Kanyadan and everything. So there are pictures and it is so like, oh my God, like this feeling and looking at your mother and those pictures when she got married, it's something very crazy. And I love talking about repeating outfits. I love talking about these crafts in India, and so many countries take these crafts and use those, and they are promoting Indian crafts outside, and definitely then we should do it. Like for me, that's sustainability. And I have some pieces of jewelry, I have some pieces of some dupattas and everything which my nani had. So that's also something. But my main this thing is that what about the constructed pieces? Like the pieces which are stitched, are they usable, or are, of course, embroidered with traditional textiles, but are they wearable, after 10 years or something like that?
We get a lot of clients who come to us with old outfits to repurpose them. So we use the embroideries or we use the fabrics in some form. We use it along with maybe a newer textile or a newer concept and make something else out of it.
Yeah.
That's the epitome of creativity,
Oh my
I
God,
think.
yeah. Correct.
Those projects I enjoy the most.
Awesome. Yeah. So, talking about these Indian textiles, very few people in India, when I talk about masses and people in India who are shopping ethnic wear and everything, they want the best quality. Very few people understand the value a garment has, which has pure silk fabric or hand done embroidery, a lot of detailing, the finish. Very few people understand that, and I have faced this. I have worked in this industry, and I know that customers don't understand the time that goes into making a piece, and especially the collection which I see here. I'm sure it takes hours, so how do we as designers, even the ones which are coming forward, who are studying and they are going to start their own brands, how do they manage the pricing, and how do they manage explaining that particular craft and putting up the MRP rates and everything? Because definitely garments, textiles, everything becomes expensive when there is a lot of handwork. What is your take?
So I feel pricing is something that you do based on your calculation of your fixed costs and production overheads, and then the entire overall running cost of a place, and then you add your margin to it. Having said that, how a person agrees to pay you an X amount versus how they agree to pay Sabyasachi an X amount, or any designer for that matter, is the value that is attached to that amount. And it has probably little to do with the outfit. It has everything to do with the value attached to their own experience and their feeling while making that purchase. So I remember this very distinctly when Anushka and Virat got married, and her outfit was discussed, and there were articles that came out as to how many colors were used into making that outfit, and how many hours were taken to embroider the outfit, and how each design was kept a secret, and how it elevated the designer's profile multifolds, A, by a celebrity wearing it, B, by the entire outfit being dissected and being talked about in detail in articles in magazines. It was a par excellent outfit, no doubts about that, but it was an education in itself as to how marketing works on the mindset of people. So slowly and gradually, you need to invest your own self into the marketing aspect of your brand and create value for your client. You have to make the brand image such that your clients will be proud to say that yes, I'm wearing a Meghmalhar.
I know.
So that hard work is required for you before you demand them to pay a certain amount. And if you've done that work, then you'll find the clientele for it. No doubts about it.
So that means that feedback matters a lot.
Feedback is everything. What the client wants, has the client received what they were looking for? The look on their face during the trial, and how happy they are, or whether they needed to come for a second trial, whether you were able to give them exactly what was discussed in the order form. Everything matters, every small thing matters. So your team has to be 100% at the same level as you in terms of delivering what has been promised to the client.
And if there's good feedback, there's word of mouth.
I'm sure.
And I think there's a cycle which gets created, and that's what any designer would want. So you have people coming at your store and looking at the outfits and then telling you that, someone referred to me and I'm here. So how do you feel, and
Word of mouth, I feel, is the highest compliment that I can get. I feel that there's no better compliment in my line of work than somebody giving you a good reference and somebody giving you a good word of mouth. So I think that is everything that you do for every single client to ensure that their experience with you has been very fulfilling and that it has elevated your brand by a little notch in their minds. And they're feeling happy about owning that outfit and wearing it. And I keep saying this continuously to all my clients when they are debating, kya karu, whether should I do this or whether should I do that. I tell them, in a wardrobe full of clothes, what will it be? What will it take for you to pick this particular outfit again and again to wear? Tell me that. So
that's how they select elements. Right. And I think in the fashion world, whenever you step out wearing that particular thing, people are going to ask, what are you wearing? You know, all of those questions. And they are going to say, and then I think if the person likes it, then there's this word of mouth which gets created, and that works for all the designers. So yeah, that's really important. So, you know, when we talk about compliments, any person, not only women, everyone loves it. And that too for work is like crazy. So you know, I'm sure you faced some challenges. Every entrepreneur does in the beginning, in the first maybe 6 months, or some people feel that for a year or more than that. So those challenges, can you tell me your sort of problems or challenges which you faced that is, you know, this was a little difficult for me, it was a little depressive for me, some kind of failure. Can you tell me about that?
I've always been lucky to have mentors in life, and during every stage of my career and during my sabbatical as well, I kept in touch with them and kept discussing about what's happening and what is the way forward and what all should I be reading, what all should I be looking at in terms of generally in life as well. So just not professionally, but growing as a human being as well. So I've had those mentors and very, very fortunate for that. At the same time, however, I did not have a mentor in this industry.
Right.
Had I found someone like Aneri to guide me from day one, life would have been simpler. And like I told you a few months back, that I had a target that I need to reach. If an X brand has taken 10 years to reach at this level, I need to do it in 5 or 6 years. And that has been my goal, and that's how that's been my focus as well. Had I had someone like Aneri in my life at that point of time, that 5-6 years would have become 2-3 years for sure. Because having been associated with financial products and leading a fairly large team myself, I knew about a business plan, I knew about the basics of entrepreneurship, or I knew about how the world works, right? And but I did not know the intricacies of the fashion world or a fashion business, which I learned by making mistakes. So I paid the cost for my mistakes, and I paid in terms of time as well as money. And they could be small things, they could have been bigger things. Fortunately for me, I was very attentive to my day-to-day affairs. Therefore, we were able to arrest and make changes and do the needful. But someone to guide you from day one, what to do to make this business plan successful, and how to use your seed money correctly, where to allocate the funds, and how to monitor that allocation.
Yeah.
And what is the right trajectory or the right priority for that to happen. If I had found someone like that to guide me on these things, my life would have been far simpler. I would have slept more number of nights rather than staying awake, and I would have grown at a higher speed, I'm sure of that.
So failures are normal for you, like that's part and parcel of any startup. Do you feel that?
Personally,
Are you afraid of failures?
I'm afraid of not doing the process to avoid failures. So whenever you get into something, you have to make sure that you know the exit routes before getting into it, right? And if you haven't found those before getting into them, and you're trying to find them after getting into it, that is what takes you to failure. So the process of finding out the routes to get out before getting into something is the mode that I've taken.
Can you give us an example for the viewers to make it simpler for them? Because there are a lot of people I talk to every day. They are very afraid of little things, and I always tell them, don't feel that, because that's not how a person who wants to build something big should feel. They have to be that, they have to be strong with their vision and everything. They have to have that clarity, and for that you will have to fall. That can be a small sort of a failure or a bigger one, but you have to be open about it, that वापस बना लेंगे. So what do you feel like? Do you normalize failures, or are you afraid of sort of falling down or something? It's a very philosophical question though.
As I said, I'm afraid about the process of not actually checking everything before getting into something, be it the smallest of the things. What might have helped me more is the years that I took to research and gather information and think about everything that I could think of setting up a brand and things to do, making a list of things to do to make it more popular. Also, a daily focus on marketing is required.
A lot of people miss that out.
Every single day you have to think what will make your brand a little more popular today. So I'll give an example. If a story is not posted on the page of Meghmalhar on any given day, I don't feel good about it. For someone who is actively doing this part, may think that it's okay, we missed it out for a day, or it's okay, how does it matter? But I think that discipline matters to me, of doing things every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very happy when my assistant, she comes at 9:30 sharp. I don't have to remind or follow up or wonder whether my workshop is open or not.
Yeah.
It's just in her DNA to do that, and I value that very, very greatly.
Yeah.
I think these small things, along with your vision for the long term, along with what all you have done to ensure your 5-year plan works, all those things put together make it success or not make it successful.
Yeah. Discipline. So for Meghmalhar, what have you, what vision do you have for the next 5 years? When we talk about this in 2024, what have you planned? What's your business model? We need to know that secret.
We'll need an entire episode with you to discuss my 5-year plan, but I can tell you that this year in the Meghmalhar show, we launched Meghmalhar bags. That was the first for us.
Yeah.
And it's a very special product for me because I'm in love with bags. I have this huge fascination for bags, and making my own brand bags was like such a thrill for me.
Awesome.
It was amazing, and we're just starting out.
Yeah.
So we are into research on products, on various things that we're going to bring in the years to follow. But that's something that I'm going to grow. We have been doing Meghmalhar footwear for a very long time. We introduced it in the launch of Meghmalhar, and we've been growing and scaling it up, and that's doing well. Meghmalhar men are going to be the next big thing for sure, because the amount of love and appreciation we've received in that segment in the last 2 years has been phenomenal without doing much in marketing.
Right.
So this is without a collection, without a photo shoot, without any kind of display, as you can see here.
Yeah.
Not a single outfit on display, and yet we've received huge number of orders during the wedding season, is because of word of mouth. Because somebody has worn Meghmalhar men in weddings, and they've given us, not just in India, we've received we've done many weddings for grooms in US and UK as well. So that's going to be next big thing from me.
But talking about when you said US and UK, how do you manage to take orders online? Like, are there clients who are sitting there and placing orders and you're talking with them via video calling, and how do you manage to take orders?
So yeah, it's the system that everybody follows. We discuss with them via video calls. We take measurements via video calls, and we update them on every stage of their order, and with photographs and with real-time videos, and we discuss the progress of the outfits, and that's how they feel they are a part of the entire process as well, which is very special to us. And that's how we've been doing a lot of groomsmen, a lot of bridesmaids, a lot of grooms and brides as well. So weddings in US, UK are generally in their summer months, and that's the off season here.
Yeah.
So that takes care of a large part of the business plan, which is you work in different country, different zones during our off season here in India.
Talking about customizations in general, in 2024, if someone wants to open their own business, which is all based off for, ethnic wear or any other category customizations, what piece of advice do you want to give them?
Research.
But research exactly on what? Can you give us a little bit of details?
I'll summarize whatever we've been talking for so long. One is make a business plan, make a process note for the business plan. Every single process that you undertake in production has to have steps. So it's like you're getting your company ISO certified. What would you do? What would the processes entail?
Perfect, yeah.
So you have to have those processes in place so that you can have accountability of time of production, cost of production, and also the amount of fabrics or the amount of other things that are required for each design. So those things come from doing proper research and sitting with your team and taking feedback, giving feedback, understanding what's happening. So all of that. And even if you have one tailor or one master G to start with, that process has to happen. You need not wait for the team to become like 10, 15 people.
And they have to follow that process.
Yes.
And something which you missed out, something personal that you understood after a little bit of your experience.
I missed out, must have been a lot of things, but I feel today, if I had the same seed money with my experience and knowledge of today, I would have used that seed money much differently than I did then. Of course, pre-COVID era was different, post-COVID, your challenges are different, your requirements are different, the costs are different, but I would have certainly made some very different decisions to use that money.
Can you give us any one sort of decision or whatever you feel that you want to share with us?
It's an everyday thing. It's like these are mostly marketing decisions.
Right.
Like in whether do you want to invest in brochures or not invest in brochures.
Right.
Whether you want to, at what stage do you want to build your website. Whether you are able to sustain the marketing required for the website or not.
Right.
And what is the cost that you would want to pay to build the website.
Yes.
All these things may be small or big.
So the priorities,
yeah,
where the money is needed.
What kind of photo shoot do you want to have? What kind of positioning you want to create? You can't have a elaborate photo shoot on 1 year and then not have the money to do it again the next year.
So
if you're scaling up your image of the brand, you have to have the same kind of funds to sustain it the next year as well. Otherwise, it's negative publicity. Oh, these people are probably not doing well. That's why they don't have a big campaign going on this year. They did such a lavish campaign last year. Things like that. I don't know whether they matter or not. But I would rather be cautious and careful before escalating on any costs.
Correct.
But then that's me. people would have different opinions on how to do things.
Correct.
But I would have used that money more. Probably I know what gives me better results today than it did
Of course.
6 years back. So,
And what do you think, if we talk about the near future, is the ready-to-wear market going to take over the whole customization thing? What's your opinion for that?
I think both the clientele is only different for both of them. People who prefer ready to wear may not prefer customization, may or may not. Whereas people who prefer customization, I've seen them very rarely go towards ready to wear. So, because they're just used to getting things the way they want them.
Exactly. Also, the uniqueness they can get in when they come.
That's
to a
very essential. This probably is going to be just one outfit made to your size and your style, and
Exactly.
it's never going to get repeated again with someone else.
Yeah.
Or there could be a limited amount of people wearing this in the world.
Yeah,
Versus
there
in
are
ready
people
to wear.
who want that. Correct.
Yes, everybody
Yeah.
would want that.
Yeah, correct.
Everybody would
And
like
they are
that.
ready to pay for that.
I don't think there's any additional cost attached to it. As we discussed earlier, it is just about whether I'm able to imagine myself in that outfit or not. If I had 50,000 to spend on this outfit and I've liked it and it fits me and I'm wearing it and liking it, and so I'm buying it. It's as simple as that. Versus, I've liked this outfit, but I would have preferred it if it was in a different color. I would have preferred it if that embroidery was done on this.
Right.
I would have preferred it if the cut was a little longer, or the fall was different, or if I would have used crepe in this.
Right.
If you think about your
Correct.
outfits in this way,
Then the feel and the look can be very different, and they can. So this is when they are able to imagine the vision, the way the outfit might turn
and
up.
then
Yeah.
some people
Also
have
need-
this philosophy that you are a designer, it's your job, and you decide for us. And if you say this is looking good, it's looking good. End of discussion. So that happens many times.
Right.
And maybe somebody has come for customization for the first time and has received an excellent experience and just doesn't want to go back to ready to wear. Because they are comfortable, they're getting their outfits at the set time, they're not calling up the designer multiple times, मेरा क्या हुआ, outfit ready हुआ कि नहीं, आपने बोला था इस date को हो जाएगा, इस date को हुआ कि नहीं. That's one thing that I really feel that is very critical to your business is date of delivery. You need to inform the client 2 days prior if you're going to be late. What is the big deal about it? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
errors can happen or you can get delayed by whatever.
Yes.
But what is the harm in informing the client?
course.
Why should the client call you up for the outfit, right?
Yes. So let's start with a rapid fire, which is really fun.
Oh, yeah.
So there will be some questions which you will be answering, but like one-liners or one word is also okay. So yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
reading those and you have to answer those.
Absolutely.
So the first question for you. Piece of advice you want to give to yourself 10 years younger Nehali.
I was on a sabbatical 10 years back and I was enjoying life and I'm still enjoying life. So I'd like to reassure her that the party is going to continue.
How easy is to earn from this industry if one starts a made-to-order fashion boutique or something like that?
So if you are judicious about your cost of production and you're judicious about using your marketing money well, then yes, it is quite simple to earn from this business.
Is it profitable?
It is profitable, but you'll have to have patience for a few years
Yes.
because you need to reinvest.
Correct. What is the reason a client will give a repeat order? What do you think?
The look on their face during the trial will ensure whether they give a repeat order or not.
Also, as a designer, what do you think that this has to be there in an outfit, this particular thing, it can be intangible also, that has to be there for that repeat order?
The order form has to mirror what has been made. It's as simple as that. I cannot have something written on the order form which does not translate into
So
the
give
outfit.
exactly what they want,
What has been discussed.
what has been discussed.
What has been discussed
And they will be
decided.
happy with that.
Of course they'll be
Yes,
happy.
100%. Biggest challenge you face coming from a non-fashion background in launching and growing the brand?
Find a mentor. Find Aneri.
One OCD you have when you check a garment constructed in your boutique and something you cannot do without. That has to be there when you have to deliver.
I really, really appreciate my team for this because they'll reject the garment then and there. It will not come up till me. It will not come to me for delivery before they've done the QC, whether they've ensured that the process that needs to be followed has been followed.
But something like you are very crazy about that, this can't be there. Like I'll give you my example. I want ironed garments before delivery.
Oh,
so that's a very
basic.
small thing.
Yeah,
but I'm like crazy about it. So
what
is your...
I'm very finicky about the turpai. I feel that the hath silai has to be done very minutely and very accurately.
Yeah, that can change the fall also.
Yes,
and, the hem.
And how I perceive my outfit, that depends on the entire look of it. But these small things are very critical in it.
Correct. One pro and one con to have a bespoke brand. So your perspective, a designer's perspective.
The pro is that you get to make new designs every single day.
Beautiful, yeah.
And the con is that you have to make new designs every day.
Superb. Reveal a secret for best sales, your experience.
Secret for best sales is listen. Listen to your client.
Oh. But one trick you try that a client has to come to your doorstep. What is that trick? One secret. How do you attract that client from outside to your doorstep?
I invest 3 hours in marketing activities every day. Every single day that I come to work, I spend 3 hours on thinking a marketing strategy or working on a thought out and made marketing strategy, but 3 hours of my day are spent in that.
So how is, this is not there, but I just want to ask you out of curiosity, how do you prioritize all the departments? So for example, there's a marketing department, there's this design department, production, QC, everything, sales, everything. So what's your priority and how much time do you invest as the owner of the brand?
So once in a day, all of us get together and we kind of discuss our main issue points. It could be related to embroidery, it could be related to dyeing, it could be related to design or details of a certain order or a delivery date, or it could be questions related to everything related to our production. Once we bring in the sale and the order form is generated, after that whatever questions need to be asked, we gather together and we set aside a time for that.
Yeah.
So that the whole day people are not running back and forth and depending on me to come and machine pe dress hai, stitching mein or questions hai. None of that business. It has to be a disciplined
Really
approach
important.
to it.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. It was great, absolutely amazing talking to you, Nehali ji. And I'm very, very glad that you were the first one for my series. And what are your closing thoughts you would like to give us and the viewers?
Select a profession that gives you this result, that you wake up in the morning and you feel like, when will it be time for me to reach office? Select that profession.
So true.
And find that fire inside of you to wake up every day with the same enthusiasm and do something positive and constructive for that particular day. We're all witnessing each other's lives as we pass, right?
Okay, so this is fab, and we are now closing our podcast. Any closing statements, Nehali ji?
So if you watched us till the end of the podcast, and if you're still here, I'd like to thank you for staying there. I hope we've given you a few insights on how your journey can be smoother than it was for me. And you're most welcome to try out internships here as well with Meghmalhar. And in your friends and family, everybody's most welcome to visit us here and have a cup of tea with us. Thank you.
Ahmedabad, guys, you have to come here, and thank you so much, Nehali ji, for everything, for your warm welcome and everything you've done, for us and our team.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.